Hello, you're watching AnewZ Morning from Baku. I'm Bakhtiar Sanov, and let's see the headlines. South Korean authorities attempt to detain impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol. Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan says Turkey is committed to protecting all groups in Syria, regardless of their ethnicity or religion. Tesla shares receive a blow after the automaker reported its first decline in annual deliveries. South Korean authorities attempted to arrest impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol today, but failed after facing resistance from both his supporters and presidential security forces. Yoon is under investigation for insurrection over his controversial martial law declaration in December.
Authorities from the Corruption Investigation Office for high-ranking officials of South Korea attempted to execute an unprecedented arrest warrant for impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol. However, the operation quickly encountered obstacles. A large crowd of Yoon supporters gathered outside his residence, vowing to prevent the arrest. Once inside the compound, investigators faced a standoff with the Presidential Security Service and military troops tasked with guarding the president.
I'm here in front of the official residence to save our country from the crisis. Corruption Investigation Office for high-ranking officials is trying to arrest the president in an illegal way, not in a legitimate way. So I came here today to prevent it.
President Yoon Suk-yeol has followed the country's laws so far. However, they don't follow the laws. The Republic of Korea is becoming a lawless world. As a South Korean citizen, I couldn't just overlook this situation, so I decided to come here.
Yoon's legal team has argued that the arrest warrant is unlawful and that they will take legal action. The warrant remains valid until January 6th, and investigators must decide whether to pursue further action after Yoon's arrest. Yoon is under investigation for insurrection after declaring martial law on December 3rd, a controversial move that caused shockwaves across the nation. The investigation stems from his failure to comply with multiple summons to answer questions about the declaration, which critics argue could be seen as an illegal attempt to suppress political opposition. The arrest warrant was issued after Yoon failed to appear before investigators.
Ivory Coast has announced that French troops will withdraw from the West African nation, further reducing the military influence of the former colonial power in the continent. The move comes as the anti-French sentiment continues to rise in the region.
Ivorians expressed their reactions to President Alassane Ouattara's decision to end the French military presence in Ivory Coast. Many welcomed the move, which redefines the West African nation's ties with its former colonial ruler.
I praise the leadership of the Ivorian president because Ivory Coast is a responsible country. The agreements have been signed since 1960 with the late President Félix Houphouët-Boigny. We are in 2025, that is to say more than 50 years later, and the talks that the president has had with France, I think it's really diplomacy.
It's true that it's taken a long time, but today if we've reached this point, it's because it's the right time. There's no debate about it. Today, if we're at the end of our contract, it's good for everyone.
Ouattara announced on Tuesday that French troops would depart, marking another step in France's broader military withdrawal from the region. France has been scaling back its forces in West and Central Africa, reducing its presence from around 2,200 to approximately 600 troops. Separately, Senegal confirmed the withdrawal of French troops from the country would be completed by the end of 2025. Ivory Coast is home to the biggest remaining contingent of French troops in West Africa, with some 600 French military personnel. France has already pulled its soldiers out of Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger, while the government of Chad abruptly ended its defense pact with France in November 2024.
Turkey has reaffirmed its commitment to protecting all groups in Syria, regardless of their ethnicity or religion. In a recent statement, Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan emphasized Turkey's role as a guardian for minorities and displaced Syrians, highlighting the country's ongoing efforts to offer refuge and support in the face of oppression.
Turkey is determined to protect all aggrieved groups in Syria, the country's Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan stated, with his Belgian counterpart, Bernard Quinton, in Ankara. He explained that during the oppression under the Assad government, millions of Sunni Arabs, as well as ethnic Turks, were displaced and forced to seek refuge in other countries.
Diğer taraftan Suriye'de kamplar dışında da bulunan yabancı
On the other hand, we want the foreign terrorist fighters who are also outside the camps in Syria, especially those in the ranks of the PKK who oppose the unity and integrity of the country, and not only oppose the unity and integrity of Syria, but also threaten the unity and integrity of Turkey and its surrounding countries, to leave the country as soon as possible.
ülkeyi terk etmelerini istiyoruz.
Bernard Quinton expressed his desire for Turkey's assistance in communicating with the Syrian government.
And given Turkey's influence and contacts with actors on the ground, we discuss how we could join efforts to this end. I mean, you know them better than us. You are their neighbor. They will remain your neighbor. As we say, you can change of friends, but you can never change of neighbors. So they are there. So really count on you, my dear friend, to help us help them, and to also convey our message, but also to convey their message to us, how we can help them. We spoke about the financial system, the banking system. Let's see how we can help also to lift some sanctions. I mean, it's a process in order for them to be able to deliver for the people.
Turkish Foreign Minister added that Turkey did not hesitate to offer sanctuary to those seeking protection from oppression. Since 2011, the country has provided refuge to over 3 million Syrians.
The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees has reported that more than 115,000 Syrian refugees have returned to their home country following the fall of Bashar al-Assad's regime. In a written statement, UNHCR provided details on the developments, noting that since December 8, 2024, individuals have been repatriating from neighboring countries, including Turkey, Jordan and Lebanon. The figures concerning these returns are based on public disclosures by host nations, interactions with migration services in Syria, and border observations conducted by UNHCR and its partners. UNHCR said the Turkish Minister of Interior reported that more than 35,000 Syrians have voluntarily returned home. For its part, Jordan noted that more than 22,000 people have entered Syria through its territory, 3,100 of whom were registered refugees. Meanwhile, the number of Syrians departing Lebanon through official border crossings remains low but steady. These journeys are predominantly through the Masna crossing and include people who may be making short trips to assess the situation in Syria. Turkey's Defense Minister Yaşar Güler visited an unmanned aircraft systems base command in the eastern city of Batman to outline the strategic goals of the Turkish armed forces for the new year. Defense Minister Yaşar Güler, joined by senior military officials, praised the base's contributions to Turkey's defense operations, particularly in cross-border missions in northern Iraq and northern Syria. Güler highlighted the Turkish Air Force's pivotal role in national security, describing it as a source of pride with its abundant technology, skilled personnel and operational successes. He also noted that Turkey's UAV and UCAV programs have garnered international recognition, bolstering both the defense sector and the country's export potential. Güler reaffirmed Turkey's resolve in combating terrorism, stating that the nation will persist until full border security is achieved. He also addressed the importance of a self-reliant and modern defense industry, stressing that the Turkish armed forces' dominance in the skies remains a top priority. Russia's military advances in Ukraine in 2024 came at a staggering human cost. According to a report by the Institute for the Study of War, Russia suffered approximately 102 casualties for every square kilometer of Ukrainian land seized.
In 2024, Russian forces captured 4,168 square kilometers, mainly consisting of fields and small settlements in Ukraine and Kursk Oblast, at the reported cost of over 420,000 casualties. Ukrainian Commander-in-Chief Colonel General Oleksandr Syrsky stated on December 30th that Russian forces sustained 427,000 casualties throughout the year. Geolocated evidence analyzed by Institute for the Study of War confirms the territorial gain, revealing that Russia suffered approximately 102 casualties for every square kilometer of Ukrainian land seized. Earlier reports showed that during intensified offensives in September, October, and November 2024, Russian forces gained 2,356 square kilometers while incurring an estimated 125,800 casualties. On December 24 last year, Russian Security Council Deputy Chairperson Dmitry Medvedev announced that 440,000 recruits signed military contracts with the Russian Ministry of Defense, suggesting that recruitment efforts are barely keeping pace with the high casualty rates. By December 2024, however, Russian advances had slowed significantly. Institute for the Study of War reported that Russian forces captured 593 square kilometers in December, advancing about 18 square kilometers per day, down from 28 square kilometers per day in November. Despite this reduced rate of advance, daily Russian casualty figures remained high. The Ukrainian General Staff reported an average of 1,585 Russian personnel casualties per day in December, marking the fourth consecutive month of record-high daily casualty rates. Syrsky noted on last year, December 30th, that Russian forces experienced 1,700 daily casualties over the past week, further highlighting the surge in losses even as their progress slowed. From September to November, Russian military command tolerated unprecedented casualty levels to secure larger territorial gains, but it remains uncertain whether such losses can be sustained as Russian forces encounter more heavily fortified settlements like Pokrovsk. In February 2025, it will be 3 years since the war has started.
Shares of Tesla fell more than 7% Thursday morning after it reported its first decline in annual deliveries.
Tesla handed over 1.79 million electric vehicles in 2024, down 1% from 2023 and below the 1% gain predicted by analysts. Incentives failed to boost demand for its aging lineup of models. CEO Elon Musk expected promotions, including zero interest rate financing, to power a slight growth in deliveries in 2024. Reduced European subsidies, a shift in the US toward lower-priced hybrid vehicles, and tougher competition from China's BYD have pressured Tesla. In response, Musk pivoted Tesla to self-driving taxis and backed President-elect Donald Trump with millions of dollars in campaign donations, in hopes that it could bring regulatory relief for the company. Deliveries in the fourth quarter also dropped. With self-driving technology still years away, analysts have said Tesla will have to rely on cheaper versions of current cars and the Cybertruck to drive sales growth in the near term.
Turkey's first domestic electric vehicle producer, TOG, has delivered nearly 50,000 cars to date. In 2023, the company sold approximately 20,000 units of its T10X model. TOG sales surged 54% in 2024 compared to the previous year and reached 30,000 units. In December, the EV company delivered more than 5,700 cars. Vehicle sales data for December and the whole of 2024 have not been yet unveiled yet. Over in Spain, Barcelona celebrated the arrival of 2025 with a traditional New Year's bath among the golden sands and waves.
Barcelona welcomes 2025 with the traditional New Year's bath. Usually associated with snow and cold, taking this traditional bath outside would mean braving ice-cold water this month. Luckily for Spain, people are enjoying the sun, loud music, and beautiful waves of the Mediterranean Sea. Barcelona's beaches, particularly Barceloneta Beach, are famous for their golden sands and vibrant atmosphere. With temperatures reaching 13 degrees Celsius, people did not miss the opportunity to fulfill this tradition once again. People are running into the water, dancing to music with their decorated hats and glasses on, and welcoming the new year in the most vibrant way possible. Locals, alongside foreigners, are getting the best out of the holiday.
I'm actually feeling warm. It's actually not that cold. Starting the year in the ocean, which is nice.
The truth is that for me it's very joyful and very fun, and it is also very nice to feel everyone's company.
The celebrations continued for a few hours as curious onlookers, swimmers and tourists celebrated the first day of the year on the popular beach of Barcelona.
Well, that's all we have for this hour. You can also get latest news and headlines around the clock on our website, that is AnewZ.tv. Thank you for watching.